the replay of this live. The live today is about the High Priestess card, one of my favorite cards and probably the most favorite card in the tarot deck, for me anyway. Before we get into all of that, I just want to welcome you to the channel. If you're new to the channel, if you've just found the channel, certainly subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when any of these lives are on, so that you can join them when you can, and certainly watch the replay as well. If you are watching the live, still comment. I still like to read your comments under the video, so do that. Also remember that there's the super chat feature, and also the, I think it's called super something else, that once the video has actually been produced afterwards, there's another way that you can donate to the channel as well if you're interested in doing that. Hello. First. Okay, so the first one is your favorite one, is that right? Hi, Mr. Perfect is perfect. So yes, as we're joining, I'm just going to slow it down a little bit just to allow everybody to get on, because I know it takes a little bit of time for everybody to join. Hello, Silver Willow. Star card is your favorite? Awesome. Yes, it's a lovely card, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous card. And depending on the decks too, you may find that sometimes the cards change. That may be your favorites. Personally, in most decks, not all decks, but in most decks, I find that the High Priestess card is my favorite card. I'm always drawn to that card. For some reason, the artist's depiction of the High Priestess in most decks will draw me to it as a favorite card. There's only been one deck where I haven't really liked the High Priestess card artwork, and I can't remember what deck that is. But for most of the decks, it's the High Priestess card that I'm most drawn to. So certainly let me know in the comments as we're going what your favorite tarot card is. And after, if you're watching the replay, let me know what your favorite tarot card is. And if you want to say why it's your favorite card, certainly put that in as well. If you want to know more about Mystery Witch School and how you can get involved more with the Mystery Witch School community, I'll let you know at the end of the live how you can get involved with that. If you do want to start your witchcraft practice though, and you don't really know where to start or how to begin, or basically what to do when you're trying to learn something new, you kind of like need a roadmap along the way. So I'm just putting into the comments at the moment a link to the how to start your witchcraft practice, just in case you're confused about how to start your witchcraft practice and you just want to watch a free video that tells you basically the outline of how to practice, because it's a step-by-step thing and you've got to slow down and you've got to take one thing at a time. It's no point trying to do a whole lot of things at once and then get confused or get overwhelmed. Just take your time with this process. When it comes to learning tarot, it's the same thing. Take your time learning tarot. Take your time getting familiar with the cards. Later on in the year, I will be launching a tarot course. So if you want to know more about that, make sure you're on my mailing list. Signing up for the How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice is a good way of getting onto my mailing list if you want to know what's coming out in the future. Hi, Freya. So we're talking about the High Priestess card today, and it is, as I said, one of my favorite cards. And why is it my favorite? I think I might want to say that first. I don't know. I don't know why it's my favorite card. It's just a card that I seem to be very drawn to. I find the High Priestess card a little bit elusive. There's something about her that you can't pin her down. She's a bit watery. She's certainly got that water energy going on for her. Yes, there's a connection to the moon astrologically. So again, it's that elusive aspect of her that I find whenever I see her in a reading. I find I connect with her and I relate to her, yet at the same time, I can't grab hold of her. And I don't know if anybody else has ever had this experience with the High Priestess card or any of the cards in the deck, that sometimes you just can't grab hold of them. You've got to let them be like water and just let them flow around the reading a little bit and try not to pin her down or hold her down. That's my first impression of working with the High Priestess card. The Blue Man, hello. Hello, Felix. Awesome. We're glad to be connected here. Awesome. So the first thing about the High Priestess card, and I'll just put her up here. So this is the Smith, the Waite Smith deck, and it's probably the one you've all seen. I'm just going to use this deck because it's the most common deck, and it's got a lot of esoteric imagery on it, which is very potent. And of course, coming out of the Golden Dawn with Edward Waite and also with Pamela Smith, you have that esoteric energy there. So we see here a woman seated. She is seated on a throne, crowned and throned. She has the moon at the bottom of her feet. And a lot of this is, of course, Kabbalistic imagery. So when you're dealing with the Waite-Smith deck, you are dealing with Kabbalistic imagery. She's wearing a lot of blue. Blue, of course, is the color of water. It's the color of the intuition, color of emotions, color of the subconscious mind to a large degree as well. And for me, blue also signifies the astral realm, because when I ever see anything that I've drawn like a pentagram or anything on the astral, it always comes up as blue to me, how I see it. And when I'm drawing a circle, it's blue energy that I see when I'm drawing the circle with my athame or even with my fingers. She's seated between the two pillars, which is Boaz and Yakin, also from the Kabbalah. You could also see these two pillars as being yin and yang as well. So you've got the feminine pillar of Boaz and Yakin being the masculine yin and yang energy. So she's between the polarity, between those two energies, with the Hermetic system, the principle of polarity, that which is similar in essence but different by degree. And she's seated between these. And she can be a balancing force. She's a number 2, so 2, of course, is also balance. So she can be a very balancing force, but we have to learn how to work with her in order to achieve that balance. And so if you're doing shadow work or meditation with this card, she can be a wonderful card to help you connect back to your intuition. A good question for you to ask yourself is, what is your relationship to your intuition? Because when she comes up, she can be pointing you towards your intuition. She can be telling you to follow your intuition, to listen to your intuition, allow your intuition to guide you. And if you understand your relationship with your intuition, even if now it's a little shady, maybe you're not good friends with it at the moment, but as you journey through the witchcraft or the magical path, and as you do the practices, you'll find that your connection to your intuition will become stronger. And your connection to your intuition can signify what your connection to your soul self is. So this part of yourself that is connected to the divine, to the goddess and God, to your higher self, what is that relationship? Because your connection to your intuition mirrors that. It mirrors your connection to your soul self, your higher self. I'm just going to put this card down now because it's hurting my arm holding it up. So I'm just going to look at some questions now. So Freya says, High Priestess is my favorite too. My solar plexus always feels relaxed and at home when she appears. Awesome. Blessed be Tommy. What does the Yakin stand for? Okay, so they're both Kabbalistic. You're dealing with the two pillars in the Kabbalah. There are two pillars. Well, there's two pillars, but there's really three. But when I think of the pillars, they're kind of like extremes. They're like the opposites of each other. So you've got the pillar of severity and the pillar of mercy. So Boaz is the pillar of severity, and Yakin is the pillar of mercy. So if you, without going into too much Kabbalistic stuff at the moment, that's what it relates to. You can, of course, extend that to an understanding of yin and yang as well. If a Taoist approach or an Eastern approach is a little bit more easier to understand, I think a lot of us have been more aware of yin and yang than we would be of the Kabbalistic stuff, unless you've been involved in magic for some time and are interested in that flavor of magic. So think of your intuition, and what is your connection to your intuition? What is your connection to your soul self? The High Priestess card is also about cycles because she's connected to the moon. So you can be drawn to considering something that's cyclical. Maybe you're going through a cycle, or maybe you need to see things from a more cyclical point of view. Maybe you need to tune into your cycles, or tune into the cycles of the seasons, tune into your circadian rhythm. We all have a circadian rhythm, and we go up and down during the day, and we have biorhythms. So tuning into those biorhythms, tuning into when are you on your highs, when are you on your lows. During your day, you'll find you'll have different times of the day when you are more alert, more creative, more passive, wanting to chill out, wanting to be more reflective. And there's different times of days for different people as to when's the best time for you to be more productive in an external sense, and when is it better time for you to actually be more reflective in that more introverted sense. So she may be alerting you to your cycles. She could be alerting you to tuning into the lunar cycles if you're wanting to work with the lunar cycles, understanding cycles as well, that everything in nature is cyclical. There's a cycle to pretty much everything. So, and where are your cycles on a psychological level too? Where do you find that you go through cycles? Maybe you go through cycles when you're doing a project. Maybe you go through cycles when you're in a relationship. What are those cycles, and how are those cycles helping you or not helping you? And looking at those. She's really about getting into that subconscious mind. If you take notice of the card again, you've got that veil behind her with the pomegranates on it. And that is the veil between the conscious and subconscious mind. And the pomegranates are, of course, the unconscious, going down into the underworld of the unconscious, that connection with Persephone, and moving that veil between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And if you did remove the veil that's behind the High Priestess in the card, you would find that there is either an ocean or a lake of water there. And so that's really diving down into your subconscious and really getting to feel into what's going on underneath the surface. The High Priestess card can also be a card about what's hidden, what you can't see. And I think that's one of the things that I find so elusive about her, is that whilst I find her very calming too, as Freya does, I find that still I have to back off and just allow myself to float with her, because there is a lot of hidden aspects to this card. It, to me, it has a lot of connections to the Piscean realm as the Piscean realm is how I sort of see it also connecting. And I know that astrologically that isn't the connection, but I feel that watery energy there, very, very Piscean, that very elusive energy. So a good question maybe to ask yourself is, how do you move between being consciously aware and being aware subconsciously of what's going on down in your subconscious mind? Because like the High Priestess, the subconscious can be very elusive. And part of the magical path is to really understand ourselves, know thyself, and to understand our subconscious and how our subconscious mind rules us, how it is the one in control. Our conscious mind is not in control very often. Our subconscious mind is 90 to 95% the one that's controlling our lives, and all the way that we feel throughout the day, some of the reactions that we have, the thoughts that we have, are subconscious reactions to life, not conscious ones. And so to get more of a sense of mastery over our own lives, instead of trying to control that in an outward way by trying to control people and events all the time, which is a lot of magical stuff, which is quite exhausting. We have to learn how to understand what's going on in our subconscious mind so that we can have more influence over ourselves and more responsibility for what's going on inside ourselves and how that is creating our lives. She's very much about magic, but magic coming from the inner side. And I think why she's so powerful for witches, particularly, or anybody involved in the magical path, is because she really is connected to those hidden realms, the magical realms, the subconscious realms, the astral connection, and really going deep down into ourselves, doing that shadow work and understanding how we create our own reality by the way that we react to things and why we react to things the way that we do. Hello, Robert. So how can you tap into your subconscious mind? If you're working with the High Priestess card from a meditation point of view, or just trying to connect more with what that card means for you, you can use all of the shadow work, self-reflection tools when you're working with the High Priestess card. You can journal if you love writing, just journaling. You could do automatic writing if you're working with the High Priestess card, because you're tapping into that subconscious part of yourself, that watery part of yourself, and just allow the words to flow like water and be like the water element. Connecting to your intuition without the conscious mind trying to edit everything and trying to impose what you think you should be writing or what you think you should be feeling, but just allowing the subconscious mind to inform you. So automatic writing is a great way to connect to yourself. It's used sometimes in spirit work, in connecting to spirit. Most of the time, it's a good tool to use for you connecting to yourself. So you just write, put pen to paper, start writing, and you don't take the pen off the paper. You don't think about what you're writing. You just write. You could do the same with a recording device if you're more of a talker than a writer, and just talk what's coming through your subconscious mind. You may find that channeling-wise, that works for you too. You can practice dream journaling and recalling your dreams. I see the High Priestess card also being a card about dreaming as well and connecting to your dreams. If you're not good at recall for your dreams, you can start doing that by getting your dream journal and writing down the next morning when you wake up, or if you wake up throughout the night, any little thing that you might have remembered from a dream. It might be a color, it might be a word, it might be really, really vague. But when you start recording it every day, that vagueness will start to go away and things will start to become more clear. It's like you've got to train your brain to remember your dreams. But when you train your brain to do that, your reticular activating system will be switched on and it will start to help you remember your dreams and recall your dreams. It's just a training thing. If you're more advanced, you can do lucid dreaming to work with the High Priestess card as well. If you need to solve any issues and you really feel you need to dig down into your intuition, maybe the conscious mind's getting in the way a little bit, you can work with lucid dreaming, where you are actually asleep, but you become conscious in your sleep state that you are dreaming. And then you can be more active in your dreams and direct your dreams. It's a fun thing to do. It's not an easy thing to maintain in a dream, but it is fun to actually realize that you're dreaming when you're in a dream. Meditation is another way that you can work with the High Priestess card, and of course all of the cards. And journeying as well, if you like to journey. So if you've got a drum rhythm or some rhythmic music that can help you get into an alpha wave state, and just allow yourself to connect to the High Priestess card, maybe go into the card and allow yourself to go on a journey. Allow your imagination to take you somewhere on a journey. Another aspect of the High Priestess too, or there's two other aspects, is that she's a card of wisdom and knowledge. She's holding here the Torah as well. So this is about knowledge, one of the books of knowledge. And it's understanding the knowledge, understanding what the metaphors are in all of these mythologies. And I see all of these books as books of mythology, whether it's the Bible or whether it's the Torah or anything. They're the same as all of the mythological texts that we have from the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians. And understanding that, bringing wisdom to that, understanding the metaphors within what these things are telling us about ourselves, stories about ourselves, stories about how we connect to our spirit. So that's the wisdom aspect. So if she's coming up in a reading, she might be asking you to maybe seek your own wisdom or seek wisdom from somebody else. She may also be signifying change too. She can be a card of change. And the change with the High Priestess card is generally a slow change. It's a change you're probably not going to be aware of, again, because she's elusive and she's hidden. But it can signify that there is change afoot. And to understand that change, you may need to go in quite deeply into your spirit, into your soul self, and connect with spirit and connect on that higher self level to really understand the depth of the change and how the change is happening. It's a very spiritual card. That's why I think she's so significant for witches. Two cards are pretty significant, I guess, if you're looking at the craft. You've got the Magician card, which is the more active principle. And here we're dealing with the High Priestess card, which is the more receptive principle. So she's receptive, reflective. There's that nurturing of the subconscious mind there. There is very much those feminine yin qualities contained within her. Cycles, your rhythms, your seasons. And ask yourself that. How can you better connect with your cycles, as we talked about earlier? How can you connect more with your own cycles, your circadian rhythm, the moon? How can you connect with those? A good practice to do if you are journaling every day and have a magical journal to record, like maybe tarot readings that you do every day or your work that you do as a daily practice, is to take note of what cycle the moon is in. And does that affect you in any way? Are you feeling on an emotional level different when the moon's in Gemini to when the moon's in Cancer? How is it? What do you notice about yourself maybe when the moon is in Virgo compared to when the moon is in Pisces? It's opposite. So there are ways that you can understand your connection to your intuition and your connection to your soul self and work with the High Priestess card. So we've got here, between the two pillars, the mediator between the depths of reality. Yeah, she's very much the mediator. And I guess if you think of the role of the witch traditionally, the witch was very much like the shaman, the walker between the worlds. So there was the mediator. The witches have always been the mediators between the worlds or the depths of reality. So to me, she's always signified the feminine aspect of the witch energy. That's probably why I identify with her so much. I feel very strongly that if the card came up for me, she would be Hecate. Yes, she could definitely be Hecate there, particularly connecting to that Persephone connection in the myth there, where Hecate witnessed the abduction of Persephone. So, hi, Michelle. What does it mean when the High Priestess is reversed? Is there an additional meaning if the High Priestess shows up with an additional card, such as the Magician? It depends, of course, on the context of the reading and what the person is asking. I see reversals, and reversals can be taken differently. There's different ways you can deal with a reversal. I see reversals often as being sort of blockages maybe to the energy when it's upright. Also, reversals can simply be a way of bringing your attention more to what the card actually means. So it's like giving it more emphasis. But it may be, it's sort of saying you need to look at this area a little bit more intently because maybe you're blocking your intuition in some way, blocking your inner wisdom. Maybe you're not really connecting to yourself, or simply, if the High Priestess is about the hidden, then in reversed, she could be about something being exposed as well. The Magician card is kind of that active energy where you've got all the tools that you need in order to be able to take charge and manifest things in your life. It could be a card of you providing yourself opportunities and taking advantage of situations as an opportunistic way, because that's what magic is. And if the two are together, that would be very, very interesting depending on what the question is, because you're dealing with the active energy of the magician and having all the resources there to be able to create your own reality with a lot of that active potential going on. And maybe the High Priestess, depending on where she is in the reading, where the magician is in the reading, could be talking about connecting to your inner wisdom and your inner knowledge in order to be able to be more successful with this creation that you're doing, because you need both the active and the receptive in order to be able to create. So I see the magician as being that active element where you're putting your will out into the world, and the High Priestess is where you're laying back and you're allowing the magic to unfold. You're opening up to all of the possibilities that the magic may be bringing, and listening to your intuition guiding you. So it's a bit of a play between the two. This depends on what the reading is about. Okay, how do I begin witchcraft practicing? My baby witch, what are the things I need to start? Awesome, Felix. So Felix, I put up in the chat, and I'll just do it again, a link to my free video, how to start your witchcraft practice. I've just put it in the chat again. So if you want to click on that link, there's also a link on my YouTube channel as well that you can go to download the copy of that video, how to start your witchcraft practice. It'll answer all of those questions. Okay, out of balance, not listening to your intuition. More soul searching. I believe that it would mean if it was reversed. Yes, yes. I see that, to me, again, High Priestess, because it's water, again, I see her reversed as being like, you get stagnant water or blockage in a pipe, and so the water can't flow. I see it that way. So it's either stagnant, it's not clear, it's murky water, there's no clarity there, or it's being blocked, the energy's being blocked, the flow's being blocked, a bit like the chi energy's being blocked if it's not, if you're not balanced. Yeah, when wisdom comes to me, it's during lunar cycles. Awesome. So you've connected to that part of yourself. Yeah. And that's what she's asking you to do, tune into those deeper parts of yourself. And I think that's why I find her very attractive in most of the decks that I've seen her in. The blueness of the card draws me as well, that peaceful, calm blue of that astral energy, and that peaceful, calming energy that the color blue brings up. So I'm just going to see what else I've got written here, just to see if I've missed anything. Sometimes the High Priestess card, if she's coming up, and depends on what other cards come up, of course, in the reading, but if you're just doing a one card type of reading for yourself on a daily basis, then she can be about you actually taking time out to reflect rather than take action of some sort. So the magician can be about taking action. The High Priestess can be about not taking action as in active action, but taking more reflective action, giving yourself space to connect to your intuition and ponder. We don't allow ourselves a lot of that in this life, this human, crazy, materialistic existence that we live in, because we're kind of conditioned to just go, do, push. And as a result of that, so many people feel stressed. So many people feel like they are anxious all of the time, or have free-floating anxiety, depression. All of these things come from not connecting to ourselves and not connecting to our intuition, and not connecting to who we really are and what we really want to be doing in this life. And the High Priestess card can be, along with some other cards in the deck, can be calling you to really do some soul searching and really look at what's important to you in your life. What do you really want to be doing with your life? What do you want to do with that magician energy? Where do you want to be directing that wand? What do you want to be conjuring? And really connecting to that part of yourself so that you can walk your path with a lot more clarity and a lot more direction, really understanding you and what you're doing here, what your purpose is here. Everyone has a purpose. It may not be a grand purpose that we often think it should be in the, comparatively, but everybody has a purpose for being here. We all signed up to be here at this time. So we've all come here with something to do, and we've also come here to liaise with other people on the path and to learn and grow with other people in the path too. So all of the people in our lives. So connecting to understanding, even if you don't understand it, at least connecting to it. I don't fully understand everything either that I experience when it comes to the path, except when it's happening. In retrospect, you can look back at it and go, yes, I can understand that. The High Priestess card is about that reflection. And if you want to go further with that, you can look at your whole life and see all of the things you've done so far and how all of those things have brought you to where you are now, and how all of the things you've learned in your life are critical to what you're doing now, that you're actually doing something with the things that you've learned in the past and the things that you've done in the past. So everything in your life, regardless of how horrible it may have been or how wonderful it is contributing to what you're doing now and what you're creating. And the High Priestess card can just help you be more reflective about what that is. What if you get a lot of Pentacle in your reading, reaping what you've sown? Well, yeah, the Pentacles is generally about material, earth-based things. So if you've got a lot of Pentacles, then the energy, the reading has probably got something to do with something that's very earthbound, very much to do with material nature. It could be health, it could be finances, it could be material possessions, or just basically being in that very more materialistic mindset and dealing with your material needs. So if you think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're dealing with your basic needs of sustenance and survival. When you're dealing with Pentacles, you can be dealing with hard work, the work that you've done around something or the work that you're doing around something. Yes, reaping what you've sown, for sure, depending on what the cards are doing in the reading. Working hard to get a certain outcome. Yeah. And if you're looking at things like, you've got the eight of Pentacles there, where you're working really hard on an outcome. You've got working with others to achieve growth in some way with the Three of Pentacles. So just looking at what those Pentacles cards are and looking at that from a material point of view. So I've given you, so for those of you who want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, I've put the link into the free video. If you want to have any tarot coaching with me, I also do tarot coaching via Zoom. So if you want to have a tarot coaching session, you can have a half-hour session or an hour session. I've got all the details on my website about how you can book that. And I'll pop that in the, I'll just pop that in the chat as well. It's also under the video if you want to go look for it. So you can, if you want to get a tarot coaching reading. I like to coach with tarot rather than tell the future, because I think that when we're on this path, yes, sometimes we do really want to know what's going to happen, but we have more influence over what can happen. And so through coaching, we can have a little bit more of a deep dive into how we may be able to deal with something in a different way, or what action we can be taking on that sort of more deeper level. So if you're interested in working with tarot that way, take a look at my tarot coaching. If you want to learn Wicca with me and witchcraft with me, you can certainly do that via the Mystery Witch School 101 course. It's 12 months. You can take longer than that. And it covers all of the, basically the Wiccan stuff, mostly first degree stuff, a little bit of second degree is in there. It's really to get you practicing the path so that you can actually do it rather than be confused and not know where to start and what to do. You get practices to do for a whole month, and you have to do them for that month. You have to wait a whole month to get the next module. So it really is about slowing you down and getting you practicing. The hungry mind will always be wanting to look for more information, more information. That's often the ego just trying to fill in the time, and the ego being hungry for knowledge. Whilst that's still okay to do, if you really want to practice this craft, if you want to become a witch or a magician, or you're on the magical path and you really want to make magic a part of your life and really connect to everything, including yourself and spirit, on a daily basis, then you have to practice it. You have to have practices that you do every day. They don't have to be long-winded practices. They can be 15 minutes a day. But you have to have that daily practice. You have to have the ability to be able to add on to what you learn. So 1 month you would be learning how to work with energy, and then the next month you build on to that. So it's more like a scaffolding process where you're building on your skills and building on your knowledge as you're practicing the craft. So it's slowing everything down to get you practicing. So if you're interested in joining up and to Mystery Witch School Academy, I will put the link to that. There's a lot of links today in the chat as well, and you can go have a look at that on my website. It's also, the link is also under this video too once it's been processed. Okay, working hard to get the second now. Okay, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the ace. They're for Pentacles. Yeah, they're good. I like those cards. Pentacles is quite a good suit. There's not a lot of nasty stuff in there. There's really mostly just the 5 of Pentacles that can be mostly nasty. But you know, again, it's not always nasty either. It depends. You can substitute if you don't have wine. Oh, okay. I finally caught tail end. Many blessings. Hi, Linda. Yeah, you can always watch the replay. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining today. I look forward to seeing you next week for another live. I'm really enjoying the YouTube lives. And yes, don't forget to sign up to find out what is coming in the future, like the tarot course that's coming. You can find a way to get onto my newsletter. The links are all under this video once it's been processed, and I'll be able to keep you up to date with what's going on. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the full moon in Leo. That beautiful Leo energy, lots of beautiful energy there with Leo full moon. So enjoy that, and we'll see you next week.